What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another daily news show, or let's call it my preview for the game on Thursday because I cannot do one later today. So you will get the preview from Justin with Allegri's quotes and all those things. So I'm going off no quotes and all that stuff. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna talk. So the title of the show is "No Chance Against Sevilla" because that's the kind of the feeling among the fans. So I'll go into that as well. But before I get into that, excuse me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification. Let's go. So I I'm recording this after the Inter game finished. I was planning to do it before, and I said no, let's wait, let's do it after. And they made the final, deservedly, because they were the better side. They played a very average Milan side, which I was told are better than Juve. They're not. They have a terrible squad. They have no squad depth, like none whatsoever. They're terrible. That doesn't take away that Inter are in Champions League final and we are in a Europa League semi-final. That's the reality of the situation. You need to also look at that. We shouldn't be in this situation. We should not be in a Europa League semi-final, but we are. The weird thing about it is not really being in the Europa League semi-final, is not being confident of reaching the Europa League final. That's the big concern. That's the worrying part, because if I cannot do a poll because I'm recording it. But if I do a poll on this channel and ask you how much do you believe we will make, how much do you believe in the fact that we will make the final on Thursday, that we will go to Sevilla and win, I think a good 75% on this channel will say not really confident. And I wouldn't blame anyone because I'm not confident. I'm not. The title of the show is maybe a bit too much. No chance. Of course, we have a chance, but I'm not confident. Based on play badly and just go away with a draw. You need to win. You need to win on Thursday, and that means, in my opinion, you need to keep a clean sheet, which seems very unlikely the way we are playing. And then it also means you need to go and score 2 goals away from home. Seems also very unlikely at the moment, the way we play. Yeah. So the build up to it, from my perspective, is not very positive. It's not very optimistic. Um, just purely based on what I've seen after the World Cup break, because it wasn't brilliant before the break, but it was a little bit better than what we've seen now. It's really poor. It's unwatchable most of the time, and it looks very toothless. It looks shaky at time. It looks without ideas. It looks all over the place. So you need to keep that in mind when you go to Sevilla, who have won this thing like I don't know how many times. I think they played 3 semifinals. They went on winning all 3 of them ever since it became the Europa League. Not the Europa Cup or whatever it was called. So you need to keep that in mind. But Allegri must. He must make the final. There are no excuses. He needs to do it. He absolutely needs to find a way to get into that final and win that final. Because the season, even if you win the Europa League, I'm not going to say it's a successful season. I'm not, because those were not the goals at the start of the season. If you want to lower them, that's up to you. You can change them in terms of you're in it, you want to win it, like I am. But at the end of the season, I'm not going to say we hit the goals, because those were not the goals. The goals were compete for the title and make it out of the group at the bare minimum. Those were Allegri's words, and we failed to do any of that. That's it. So the goals were clear because they were out there, they were outspoken. But I want to win it, and he needs to win it. There are absolutely no excuses, because do we have a better squad than Sevilla? I think so. I do believe that. Are we showing that? No, we're not. Just think back a week ago. That was a very poor performance. At home, semi-final. we never showed up. We never did. Like there was no real intent or moment in a game where you're like, we're gonna score. It's just a matter of time. It wasn't there, and that's the biggest issue. There was no hunger to go for it. To bring that game to them and actually try to wrap it up at home. There was no intent, and that's a very worrying sign because that's all you have to play for the season. And still, again, not saying champagne football, but just the intentions, the drive and whatever you want to call it. Everything was lacking, and that's a big worry because going away from home on Thursday, that stadium will be rocking. If you go down, oh boy, because we struggled we really struggled. We didn't have a good reaction to going down at home, where we created a lot of chances or put a lot of pressure on Sevilla. Now imagine that away from home, you know. Um, but he must. I'll keep repeating it. It's a failure if you don't win the Europa League. It is. Look who we played. Freiburg, Nantes, Sporting, now Sevilla, and then in the final Roma, Leverkusen. There are no excuses. There are absolutely no excuses. I don't want to hear Pogba is injured. Did anyone really, thought he was going to have an impact in the couple games, minutes he's getting? Like, we shouldn't be looking at that. That shouldn't be excuse. The biggest issue at this moment in time for me is that attack is not clicking. It looks very. How do you want to say? I don't say too. It looks toothless. It looks very out of place. When you see Kies on the ball, you feel like it's not. How do you want to say that? It's not dangerous. It's not enjoyable. Like, they're not enjoying themselves. It looks very disconnected. So many times I see Di Maria picking up the ball very deep in midfield. I'm like, you shouldn't be there. And then Vlahovic trying to link up, and there's nobody really to link up. And then Chiesa taking on a player, beats this man, looks up in the box, and there's nothing. Like, it looks like he said, the players, they get freedom up top, but I don't think they need freedom. I think they need some guidance. They do, because it really looks out of place now, when Chiesa's on the ball, when Di Maria's on the ball, Vlahovic, name it, I don't feel the last couple of weeks, maybe longer, I don't feel something is going to happen. I don't feel that. I did feel that with Di Maria after World Cup, even before. I did feel that with Chiesa, obviously, a season ago. But now, when they're in possession, when they're in the ball, when they're trying to take on players, I don't have a feeling, okay, get up. Get off my seat. Something's going to happen. I don't have that exciting feeling. That's the biggest issue, because we need to score goals on Thursday. We need to get goals. We need to be dangerous. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because I watched that Man U game, or like I had it on while I was watching Juve. They forced Man U to make errors. You might say they make ridiculous errors, but they took them all. They took all of them, and the game was done. I thought Man U still had some opportunities, but the game was over. Like, they killed it off really, really quickly. They were in full control. Because of the fans, all those things, like, it's hectic in there. They made the mistakes and they never recovered, Man U. We cannot do that. I say we cannot do that, but when you know players like Alexandro, players who are very capable of making mistakes on a weekly basis, are in that lineup, it's tough to be very positive. It is. But again, I'm not confident, but that's not an excuse for him. I'm not going to come on and say, I wasn't confident. That's why it's okay if we lose. If we don't win, if we don't make the final, it's a big L. It's a big L. The season is over, obviously. But what's there to build on? Because you can. Like, it's very important that these players do it as well, because we have some young players, we have some players who have never won with the club. It's key that they win. It's absolutely key, and he needs to do it. I don't know how. It can be a shithousery game. I'll take that. I'll take a 1-0 win in the final seconds with a deflection, whatever. I'll take it. I don't care how he does it, but he needs to do it. There are no excuses. There are absolutely no excuses for not making that final on Thursday. The pressure is on big time. It should be on big time because the season is gone so bad that the pressure should be on big time. Points deduction, no matter what. People bring that up as an excuse. We got dunked on in the Champions League group stage big time before any points deduction. We were having a terrible season before those point deduction. You might say, oh, but if we won against Napoli, it was close, but we got spanked 5-1. So it was never close. Never, ever, at any moment was it close. The 15 points, fine, but that excuse has been, used too much because this is a 2-year thing you need to look at, and even before the World Cup break, you also need to look at that. So there's no excuses. Do it. I don't care how. I don't know how at this point, even, to be honest. But you need to do it. You need to do it. Am I confident again? No, not really. I don't. I think we're gonna lose. I think we're gonna lose 2-1. I don't think we're gonna make it. I just don't have a good feeling about it. I predicted a win against Atalanta because I had a feeling. I predicted a win at home against Sevilla because I had a feeling that turned out to be, wrong. But you need to do it on Thursday. So let's see how he will manage to do that. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas on how to do it, if you're confident or not, yes or no, and if you think it's a complete failure if we don't win it, basically. Let me know. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will be back Thursday, post-game, and then Friday, not sure, because I'm going to record a podcast with Julian that will be out on Saturday as well, and then, the preview for another meaningless Serie A game, if you're being completely honest. It needs to happen on Thursday. Thanks for watching, and see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.